In this video, I will do some demonstration problems of how to work with cubic units when you are doing dimensional analysis, or otherwise known as unit conversions. If you have not watched the dimensional analysis videos number 1 and 2, you will want to make sure that you do that before checking this one out. So, when we talk about a cubic unit, we're talking about something that's cubed. And if you think about your algebra, you probably remember that x cubed was really x, right? That was equal to x to the third power. So if I have centimeters cubed, then that's the same as saying centimeters, excuse me, times centimeters times centimeters. Ooh, something in my throat. So that means if I want to cancel centimeters cubed, then I have to cancel 3 centimeters. And that will shape how we approach these problems. So for instance, how many inches cubed are present in 45 cubic feet? Now, this example might seem like, oh, it's pretty boring. Yeah, it is, because I wanted it to keep it very straightforward of what you're given and what you're asked for and not give you other information. So I have 45 feet cubed. Clearly that's the measurement that I've been given, and I'm asked to transform that into inches cubed. So I'm going to start with the measurement that I've been given, and now I need to think about what do I know about inches and feet. Well, we don't know how many cubic inches there are in a cubic foot, or maybe you do, but I don't off the top of my head. What I do know is that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. And I know that that cubic feet is really feet times feet times feet. So I'm going to do this out the long way first and then show you a shortcut. So I'm thinking about this in the terms of I got to cancel all 3 of those feet. So I'm going to take the conversion that I know and do it 3 times. Whoops, except I don't want 12 inches down there on the bottom, because I want to make sure that my unit here is my unit down here. So I have 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. And then that gets rid of 1 of the feet. And here I'll get rid of a 2nd foot. And finally, I'll get rid of the 3rd one. And when I do that, all of those feet cancel out. And simultaneously, now I have inches times inches times inches, which is inches cubed, which is what I wanted. When I put this into your calculator, I get 7, lots of 7s, 6, 0 cubic inches. I need to check my significant figures. I see that I only had 2 sig figs here. So here's a significant figure and here's a significant figure, and the rest of these guys are going to be placeholders. But that first number right there, that's 7. Well, let's make it a different color so it's real apparent. That 7 is greater than 5. So that means this 7 right here has to go up by 1 to round up. So 78000 is my final answer. Now, I said I would write this out the long way and then show you a shortcut. So from your math class, you may recall that if I have these 3 things all together, then it's the same as writing this as 45 feet cubed times, and then just using some parentheses, 12 inches, 1 foot, cube the whole thing. Now, the thing to remember about doing this is that that cube applies to that 12. And so we have to actually cube the 12. You cannot just ignore it because you don't know what to do with it. Whoops, I went too far. So let's say, now let's make this interesting. You have a friend who needs a ride to the airport, and your car has dimensions of 95 centimeters by 105 centimeters by 145 centimeters. And your friend who needs a ride to the airport has 55 cubic feet of luggage. Will the luggage fit in your car? That is the question. And can you still drive you and your friend to the airport? So the first thing we want to do is notice that cubic feet is referring to volume. In fact, any cubic units are always going to tell us, hey, that's volume. If I had a squared unit, that would be, any thoughts? That would be area. Okay, so if I had like meters squared, that would be talking about an area of something. But if I have cubic units, like meters cubed, that's talking about the volume of something. We know that volume is equal to length times width times height. So I'm going to compute or calculate the volume of this luggage compartment. It's 95 centimeters times 105 centimeters times 145 centimeters. And notice I'm multiplying centimeters times centimeters times centimeters, which means I'm going to have cubic centimeters in my answer. When I do this, I'll just double check my work here. I have 95 times 105 times 145. Yep, get the same answer. I get 1446375 centimeters cubed. Now I'm not checking significant figures yet because I'm not done with the problem, but I am sort of thinking, two sig figs here, so I eventually will only have two sig figs in my answer. Now we have a couple of choices. I have a volume here that is the capacity of my car to take luggage. I have a volume up here that is the volume of the luggage. They don't have the same unit. I have centimeters cubed here, I have feet cubed here. I can't compare those two unless you're brilliant, in which case then you should be teaching the class. So, which isn't to say that I'm brilliant. So here we are. We've got two different types of units. We want to be able to compare them together, which means we got to compare apples to apples here. So I need the same type of unit. It doesn't matter whether you take the centimeters cubed here and go to cubic feet, or if you take the cubic feet here and go to centimeters cubed. It doesn't matter. I decided to take the cubic feet cubed, and change it to centimeters. Now, thinking back, I've got cubic feet, I want to go to centimeters. I know that I have 12 inches equal to 1 foot, and I also know that I have 1 inch equal to 2.54 centimeters. And if I cube those, that's going to take care of my cubic unit. So 1 foot, 12 inches, cube the whole thing so that my feet cancel out. And then, look, I have no feet. Ha ha ha. Then I want to go from inches to centimeters, so 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. Cube that whole thing, inches cancel out. And now I just need to do some math. So 55 times 12 cubed, whoops, helps if I put the numbers in correctly, cubed. I'm just cubing the 12, not the 55. The 55 is a measurement, so I'm not doing anything to it except multiplying it times my conversions. And then times 2.54, and the 2.54 is cubed as well. And that gives me this number, 1557426 centimeters cubed. So that's the luggage. Here's the number for the space to put the luggage in, and you can clearly see, hey, this number is smaller than this number, so the luggage won't fit, which is really what the question asked us. If I wanted to check significant figures, I would say I need two sig figs in my answer. That would be this number, and this guy is 5 or greater, so I have to round up. So it becomes 1600000 centimeters cubed.